All right, so let's start. Welcome back. Today we cover six current affairs, sharp, relevant, and exam ready. Let's go. So, U.S. Israel strikes on Iran. Now, the United States and Israel conducted coordinated airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities at Natanz and Fordo, along with missile production sites near Tehran. Iran has vowed massive retaliation, threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz and target Israeli cities with ballistic missiles. Now, important point is that the oil prices have spiked 30% immediately as market fear supply disruption from the world's seventh largest oil producer. Now, the strikes represent the most direct military confrontation between Iran and Israel, US Israel alliance since the 1979 revolution. Iran produces 3 million barrels per day and controls the Strait of Hormuz, through which 21% of global oil passes. Uh, Closing the strait would spike oil prices above $150 billion per barrel, triggering global recession. Then the strikes hit enrichment facilities where Iran was allegedly approaching weapons grade uranium production. Now, Iran strike is again military operation by US Israel targeting Iranian nuclear and military facilities. And then when we have the West Asia crisis, which is regional conflict threatening to escalate into broader war, oil supply disruption, interruption of petroleum production and transport affecting the global markets, nuclear facilities, sites for uranium enrichment, potentially enabling weapon production, Israel regional escalation, widening of conflict involving multiple countries and proxy groups, US Israel alliance, strategic partnership coordinating military and intelligence operations. Then we have the rice fortification scheme suspended. Now, the government has suspended the centralized rice fortification program under which the fortified rice was distributed through PDS to combat micronutrient deficiency. Now, the suspension follows reports of implementation failures, fortification kernels separating from rice during transport, quality control issues, and beneficiaries rejecting fortified rice due to taste and color difference. Now, rice fortification adds iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12 to rice kernels, addressing India's severe micronutrient malnutrition, affecting 60% of women and children. Now, the program suspension is a major setback. Then, India has world's highest anemia burden. 53% of women and 59% of children under 5 are anemic, as per the NFHS 5 data. Now, the failure highlights the broader PDS weaknesses: lack of quality control infrastructure, poor storage facilities, inadequate training of PDS staff on handling fortified rice, and no feedback mechanism from beneficiaries. Now, rice fortification is adding micronutrients to rice to address nutritional deficiencies. Nutritional security is ensuring population access to adequate nutrients for health, iron deficiency, lack of iron causing anemia, PDS system, public distribution system providing subsidized food grains to the poor, micronutrient malnutrition, deficiency of vitamins and minerals despite adequate calorie intake, and implementation gap, difference between policy intention and actual execution on the ground. So next we have the GSI 300 critical mineral projects. So the Geological Survey of India has launched around 300 exploration projects across India targeting critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, nickel, rare earths, and graphite and copper. Now the project spans Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Arunachal Pradesh using advanced geophysical surveys and drilling. Now, this is important because India currently imports 100% of lithium and cobalt and 90% of rare earths and 70% of copper despite having geological potential. Then we have lithium is essential for EV batteries and energy storage. India needs about 300,000 tons annually by 2030 for EV targets. And beyond exploration, the strategy includes building mineral processing infrastructure since India lacks refining capacity. Geological Survey, which is the government agency conducting mineral exploration and geological mapping. Critical minerals is resources essential for technology, defense, energy with vulnerable supply chains. Lithium exploration is search for lithium deposits for battery manufacturing. Then rare earth deposits is locations with concentration of 17 rare earth elements. Mineral security is ensuring reliable access to mineral resources for strategic industries, and GSI projects is exploration initiatives by Geological Survey of India. Then we have the NEP 4-year UG implemented. Now, National Education Policy's 4-year undergraduate program has been implemented across central universities and UGC's affiliated colleges from 2026-2027 academic year. The 3-year bachelor's degree is phased out. Students can exit after 1 year with certificate, 2 years with diploma, 3 years with bachelor's degree, and 4 years with research focused honors degree, enabling direct PhD admission. Now, the traditional 3-year BA, BSc, BCom structure continues in professional courses like engineering and medicine, but general degrees move to 4 years. The rationale is that 3 years is insufficient for depth plus breadth in today's knowledge economy. All right. So the 4-year degree mandates exposure to sciences, humanities, arts, and vocational skills, regardless of specialization. A physics student must take courses in literature, economics, or philosophy. Now, this breaks rigid science, arts, commerce silos established during the colonial era. This argument is that future jobs require versatile graduates who can connect domains. Data science needs statistics plus ethics. Climate policy needs science plus economic plus governance. Now, students accumulate credits across 4 years with flexibility to pause and resume. The Academy Bank of Credit stores earned credits digitally, allowing students to change institutions to take breaks without losing progress. NEP 2020, the National Education Policy transforming Indian education system comprehensively, 4-year degree, uh, extended undergraduate program with research component and flexibility, undergraduate program, bachelor's high level education before master's or professional degrees, multidisciplinary education, learning across different domains, breaking subject silos, credit system, academic bank of credits allowing portable and storable learning achievements, and higher education reform, which is policy changes, modernizing universities and degree structures. Then we have the India US trade deal stalled. Now, the India US bilateral trade negotiations have deadlocked over the pharmaceutical market access and agricultural tariffs. The US demands India remove price controls on medical devices and reduce dairy import duties. India wants its restoration of the GSP benefits removed in 2019 and relaxation of H-1B visa restrictions. Both sides suspended talks after 6 months of negotiation, yielding no breakthrough. Now, the US imposes 20 to 30% tariffs on Indian steel, aluminum, and solar panels, citing national security and anti subsidy grounds. India retaliates with 50 to 100% tariffs on American agriculture products, medicinal devices, and motorcycles. Now, India is the pharmacy of the world, producing 60% of the global vaccines and 20% of the generic drugs. The US pharmaceutical lobby wants India to end price controls on cardiac stents, knee implants, and cancer drugs, arguing these controls violate WTO rules. Trade deal failure affects Indian IT services, exports worth $30 billion annually to US. Indian pharmaceutical exports worth $10 billion, and American defense exports to India worth $25 billion. The failure also stalls broader Indo-Pacific economic framework talks where India-US trade is cornerstone. India-US trade, which is bilateral commerce, worth $200 billion annually, largest for both countries. Trade negotiations, discussion to reduce barriers and increase bilateral economic cooperation. Tariff barriers, import duties making foreign goods expensive, reducing trade. Pharma market access, US demands for India to liberalize pharmaceutical pricing and regulations. Bilateral deal, agreement between two countries on trade, investment, and economic cooperation. And trade deficit is India imports more from US than it exports, creating imbalance. Now, the PSU dividends over the disinvestment. The government has announced a strategic shift from disinvestment to dividend extraction from profitable PSUs. Instead of selling stakes in companies like ONGC, Coal India, and NTPC, the government will retain 100% ownership and mandate higher dividend payouts, targeting 1.2 lakh crores annually from PSU dividends compared to 60,000 crores from disinvestment. Now, for a decade, disinvestment was the preferred revenue score. Selling PSU stakes generates one-time lump sum revenue, but disinvestment faced opposition from unions, political resistance, and market volatility affecting valuations. Now, the shift reflects recognition that profitable PSUs are valuable assets. Selling ONGC stakes at 2 lakh crores generates immediate revenue but foregoes future dividends worth 30,000 to 40,000 crores annually. Then this effectively ends the privatization push. Air India was sold to Tatas, but further privatization like the BPCL, Shipping Corporation, BEML are on hold indefinitely. PSU dividends, if you see, the profits distributed by the public sector undertaking to government as shareholder. Then the government strategy for reducing stakes in PSUs to raise revenue. And fiscal revenue is government income from taxes, dividends, and asset sales. Public sector is government-owned companies in industry, infrastructure, and services. Privatization is transfer of ownership from government to private entities. And then the ownership retention is the maintaining government control while extracting returns. Uh, Today's session. That's it for today's session. And stay consistent, stay sharp. See you tomorrow. Thank you.